Welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to be working on stages 26, 27, 28, and 29 of the E.T. Extra-Terrestrial from Fanhome. And the reason I'm doing all four of these stages, even though they may take some extra time, but I don't expect it to, but they're all the servo mechanism for the neck. I don't want to leave anything, gears or anything open, to dirt and stuff like that. And I don't want to leave it unfinished, this servo box, unfinished. And that's why I didn't do 26 yet, is because 26 I've had for a month and didn't do it because it would have left the gears wide open to dust and dirt and everything else. 29, you can see, has the top of the box. This servo mechanism is for E.T.'s neck. So let's get the parts open and, well, I've got the book open. Let's get the parts open and we'll start building. So in here we have the, let's see, this is base mount A. We've got a gear here, and there should be, there it is. I was going to say, this is going to get really irritating really fast if I sat here for a month and didn't do it or with a missing part, because part works are not very quick at getting you missing parts. They will ship them out, but usually it takes almost as long. It takes about a month to get your part work, replacement parts. Just as long as, if not longer, than it takes to get a regular shipment. So we got the bearing, the gear, and the box. So what we do is we take this bearing. I don't think, let's see, insert the axon post into the bearing. Yeah, there it is, not directional. You just pop the bearing in. Okay, I'm back. Don't even know for sure what I was saying. Wife came down the stairs, and so I had to stop for a minute. But we've got the gear on here, or not the gear, we have the bearing on the gear here. This will drop in here just like this. And that is all there is to do in stage 26. In stage 27, we get more pieces. And you can see here, this actually sticks out the bottom a little bit. So 27, we get what looks to be 3 gears and 3 shafts. Let's get this open. Go ahead and dump these out. We've got the 3 gears. The parts look like they are identical, and they are actually. The numbers are the same on all of them. These are parts 2701. These are parts 2702. So let's just see. Base mount on the shaft. Add lubricant from stage 6. That's what I wanted to make sure. So the first one we're going to drop in here. It says to add the lubricant on the bottom side. I do have the lubricant here in the still in the little container. Grab a micro brush for this. A little bit easier than trying to squeeze it out. So where they want you to put the grease on here, it's on the bottom, and there's a picture on here. I'll pull it up to the top, or up to the camera in just a second. Liberal amount of grease. So right here, you're greasing the bottom of each of these gears, the lower portion. So this first one, drop the pin in there, or the axle, shall we say. We're going to push this down here and line it up. Second one, let's just double check. Okay, each one of them, is going to go like that on those 3 slots, or those 3, I guess you'd call them sockets. And then you're going to put grease around the outside here of the small gear. There's a small gear, liberal amount of grease on there. Just drop it into place. And then same thing on the 3rd gear. Liberal amount of grease on here. I believe this is, it says lubricant. I believe it's actually silicone grease. If you've been watching along as I've been building ET, I have a tube of silicone grease. I have enough grease to do about 40,000 ETs. That one doesn't want to quite. There we go. Didn't want to quite go on there. And it is not wanting to turn very easily. So we'll have to see as it goes further how things work out. That, my friends, is all there is to do in stage 27. Stage 28, we get more gears. Just a guess? No, in stage 28, we get a motor with worm gear on it. So we get the motor out, and here's the worm gear itself. Need to untie the motor's wiring from itself. These are kind of rubbery wires. And then take this worm gear out of the bag here. And again, green gear indicating grease. And there's 2 sides to the worm gear. You got the part with where the threads run out and the part with the threads. The part where there are no threads needs to go down on this shaft. Place the worm gear on the shaft of the motor, press in place. Carefully tap the gear flat surface until it is fully pushed on the shaft, because it is a little bit difficult to get it pushed on initially. That is actually pretty well on there. And the open back of the motor does not make it conducive to actually doing any pushing here. Plus you got the parts for the connections pushing up pretty hard there, or pretty well. So it says to tap it on a flat surface. Let me try that. Ow. Just like I said, right there, the solder point sticks up, stabs me in the hand. Again, a nice indication of the engineering. I mean, up to this point, I have to say, ET has been about the best engineered kit. But this leaves something to be desired. Almost. The best way to do it is putting my hand over top of that, but in doing it, I'm digging those wires into my hand. Almost there. Okay, that's got it flush there. In my opinion, not the best way, especially because I've now bent these two solder joints over. Not the best way to put this in here, especially those solder joints are supposed to stick out right there. We've got the red one towards the inside of the box. So let's put some grease on here. The motor turns pretty well. I'm just curious, with as tight as those teeth are, it is very difficult to turn this. Okay, there we go. Whoops. Got a little bit too happy. Got a little bit too spinny. Stay in your hole. The gears do spin well on the axles. They should, at least. Kind of interesting that the axle itself is spinning. But I'm spinning it just to make sure that it is getting enough lubricant. And kind of interesting, when I turn it the other way, this gear pulls away. So now we're going to drop this in here where it's supposed to be. And like I said, these solder connections do come out there, but not very well. Interesting. Does that go down further? No, that is all the way down. Very interesting, because there's a gap there. So let's press on to the next stage, because that's all there is to do in this stage, and see if that's going to end up being a problem, that those points are not right down into the plastic there. Just double check. It's so close, but I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. So let's get the parts out for stage 19. We have the top of the box. Actually, this is the servo motor mount, because that's what this whole thing is a servo motor. We have another bearing here, a roller, a tension spring, and some screws, and a washer. So we have 3, 4, 5 screws, and with ET, you have to be careful. Do not lose any of your screws. They do not have spares. You got your roller, you got the bearing, the washer, and the tension spring. So first thing we're going to do is, in this hole right here, we're going to drop the bearing. Actually, that's a tight-fitting bearing. Unlike the other one just kind of sat in there. This one actually is pushed in. That might help a little bit. I pushed that bearing down a little bit. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this, turn it over, and you have to make sure that your axles hit these 3 lugs. So you kind of have to play with it, make sure that they go in there, because if they don't, when it turns, they're not going to catch. Or they're going to, it's not that they're not going to catch, they're going to bounce all over the place, and it's not going to turn correctly. I know that 2 of the 3 are in. It's actually pretty firm there. Okay. That's actually going to be okay, because instead of being a solid point where it comes out, it's a spread out piece. So now we turn this over, and put the screws into these three, or these four corners. Got a little bit of grease from the inside of the box on the outside of the box. I'll wipe that off in a minute. Come on. There's two. Get the third one here. And the fourth one. And the fourth one is not in a corner. The fourth one is right here. I didn't even realize that until just now. So I'm going to tighten it down all the way. Once they go all the way home, don't tighten beyond that. Tighten this one down. And the last one. Grab a paper towel. See if I can get this excess grease off the outside. It's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but I would prefer it not be there. So let me see. Hopefully this is going to turn. Does it have doesn't show it, but I know I've got the test box just for giggles. Let's put the red lead in here, black lead in here. I'm sure we're going to test it later on, but I want to just make sure. Okay, it is actually very slow. So it does work. So those gears, what those gears are doing, make sure that's off. What those gears are doing, the small gear goes to out to the larger one. So what is happening is the motor can spin really fast, and this will spin really slow. Just wanted to make sure that my motor was good and that everything was going to work. So the next thing we do is we figure out where the washer went. Oh no, not good. So let me pause the camera while I figure out. Never mind. Found it. I was going to say, let me pause the camera while I figure out where that washer went, because I didn't put it in the tin like I should have. So you've got this little roller here, and you've got the opening in the middle there. You've got to put it onto this wire piece, like that. And then we're going to take this roller, and it's going to go on here just like that. And that, I think, isn't actually, when I looked at the instructions, I was like, is that the part that moves? This isn't going to move. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of a gear, and that's going to run on a track to help make the neck move slowly. Or not, maybe not slowly, but smoothly. And of course, the grease brush has fallen off of there, and so it's on the table. So the next thing is the washer goes on the screw, and then the screw goes into this post right here. Washer is going to help to hold the spring in place, because that spring is all over the place right now. I know the one thing I know, you don't want the spring to be pinched. You want it to be, I'm sure, I'm not positive, but it doesn't say that, I don't think. Does it say it? Sure, washer, screw tightness, scaring it. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure that needs to be able to move, maybe not quite that freely. And again, maybe not. May not be a good design there. I should not see stress marks on the outside of that post. Hopefully, it's not going to end up breaking off. Let's see, front view, back view, and that is all there is to do in stage, what was it, 26 through 29. So appreciate you coming by. Hope you are enjoying this build. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Leave a comment if you're enjoying the content. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. I'm truly interested. I say hit the bell icon to be notified of any time I post new content. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you in the next video.